It me reporting whatever the fuck I want.
You don't own me.
Whatever.
You should be scared.
It's tea time.
Hello and welcome to Tea Time with Sarah Holcomb, where I, Sarah Holcomb, and fellow comedians spill the tea on news stories that have been going down this past week while having a tea party at the same time. Today we have Jamal Guichon. He's a comedian based here in Chicago and hosts shows around the globe.
The whole thing.
And Jamie Schreiner. She is a nationally touring comedian and a featured contributor to The Onion.
And a stupid bitch.
Alexa apparently is trying to kill innocent white people. Apparently, a mother and daughter, they were quarantined, they were bored, they were asking for some challenges from their Alexa, and Alexa was giving them a list of challenges, and one of the challenges that they should take a penny and put it on an exposed prong of a phone charger to effectively kill themselves. And I have several questions and statements about this. The first being, like, that's very specific of the Alexa.
Yeah.
That's a very specific, you know what I mean, like way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, is maybe we should like investigate the mother and daughter like duo, because Alexa been watching them intimately.
True.
And then she was like, "No, these humans gotta go."
Yeah.
Maybe there's a reason for it.
Don't they hear, like, the Alexa hears things that are going on in the house, and then it like puts together its own intelligence based on what it's around, right?
I think so. I think it's always listening.
You're saying it's the nurture over the nature of the Alexa. You're saying it's
Oh, no.
the environment the Alexa is in is what produced what we're saying, rather than like the Alexa itself being deranged.
We saw all the movies. I mean, we made the movies about this. I don't
I,
understand
Robot.
why we're actually doing this to ourselves.
I'm mad racist against robots. I am not for these niggas equal rights whatsoever.
Well, you know, there is an AI intelligence, like there's a human robot looking thing that actually has citizenship in Saudi Arabia. Like, they're legitimately considered a citizen of Saudi Arabia.
It must be.
kinda
It must
hot.
be a male robot.
It's a woman.
It's a woman robot. Oh
That's
my
pretty.
God, that's progressive.
That's pretty.
That's progressive.
Saudi Arabia is shocking us.
Would you fuck a robot? I'm talking about the robot. Look, have you seen Westworld? Have y'all seen Westworld?
No. I've seen
The
Westworld.
robots look like us, and they're not like.
It looked like a person.
They look
and I
like
didn't
us.
know.
They interact with like
Yeah.
people. If you're not like an expert, you cannot tell the difference between the robot and.
I gotta put my hands up and say, like, in the context of a show like Westworld, I absolutely would fuck one of the robots.
Yeah.
I would not know it was a human. I would not know.
I've
But
never
e-
seen that.
even
Even if I knew, if I was already in love with the robot.
I like how you said love. Look at even in this situation, Jamie knows like I'm gonna catch feelings. It's inevitable.
Okay.
The former Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi's son, Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, is running for president in Libya right now. So if you don't recall, America thought the Libyan people needed some freedom. So in 2011, they went and they assassinated Gaddafi, basically. And
Shouldn't have been talking shit.
yeah, well, they did it because of war crimes, and that left the war crimes. It left the
America loves some war crimes.
I know.
And we love pointing the finger at war crimes too.
Yeah, but we don't point fingers at ourselves for war
Because we
crimes.
got the biggest guns.
Oh,
Get your
we-
guns up.
Yeah, oh my god. So after Gaddafi was assassinated, that left his country in shambles, and there was chaos for 10 years. So his son wants to come back and put it together, and that's his main mission statement, is that he wants to put together his country again and make it less chaotic and run well, or whatever.
Like his daddy was doing.
Well, let me tell you how horrible the conditions were under Gaddafi and the reason why we went in. The education and medical treatment was free for everyone under Gaddafi. The price of gas was 14 cents per liter, which is 30 cents a gallon. Women were free to work and dress as they liked.
I'm gonna kill us. Go
Yeah.
on. Tell me more.
They did not impose any restrictions on women. They allowed families to make those choices for themselves. Newlyweds received $50,000 from the government to start their new families and get a house. And everyone had enough food. The Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, confirmed undernourishment in Libya was less than 5%. Gaddafi carried out the world's largest irrigation project called the Great Man-Made River Project, And that was to make water available to everyone in his country. The Libyan national reserves of $150 billion were frozen assets worldwide, and they had zero debt in Libya. So to put that into perspective, in the US, we have a debt of $18 trillion.
Come collect it though.
And
Come collect it.
but Libya had zero debt.
Come collect it.
So, why did we kill them? Well, let me tell you. In 2009, Gaddafi, the president of the African Union, so he wasn't just the president of his own country, he was the president of the African Union. He suggested to the states of the African continent to switch to a new currency independent of the US dollar. The objective was to divert oil revenues towards their own funds, because the dollar is actually based off of the price of gold. So who has gold? Africa. And so the states of Africa were like, hey, this is our gold. We want to set our own currency because it's ours. You're getting it from our country. So we're going to set the rules now. And actually Nigeria, Tunisia, Egypt, Angola, they were totally on board with this, and they were going to change their currency to something called the gold dinar, and it was already set in motion. This would have been a nightmare, obviously, for the West financial system. So we went in there and we freed them.
Obviously, this is terrible. I'm being facetious. Obviously, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But look, in America's history, we don't like other countries stunning on us.
I mean,
All right, we don't like other countries. You can't be over here setting a good example to the world about what you should be doing to your citizens.
that was democratic socialism. That was like my fucking dream, what you
Yeah.
just read, and they
Yeah.
just literally took a shit on it.
Zombie apocalypse, restart the world.
I think the main source of evil from what I'm seeing is just the need to have power and control over others. The US wanted power and control, and that seems to be the case with everyone. Like every single thing, every single conflict that I see, I always think, what is the root of this? And it always goes back to power.
Power corrupts. If you don't understand how it's corrupts, it's because you've never been in power. Like if you've been, even like I was a project manager for the security company, and I was stationed here in Chicago. I was based here in Chicago, and the nearest boss was in Nashville, had my own office, and it was my first job out of the military. You know how long it took me to immediately start like taking advantage? Like I was like showing up late. I started like this girl in my office. Like I was just doing like wild shit. You know what I mean? Like I would just not show up because my nearest boss. And I'm actually like a person who tries to treat like people fairly and like. But it's now that I was going from a power structure of the military where everything is very checked and balanced to this unbalanced power where I'm like the only person, nobody fucking get away with whatever, nobody's above me, and it just made me realize how much power corrupts. Like first you take a little bit, and then you take a little bit more, and then you realize no one can stop me.
Yeah, I've actually gone a little bit further in just my like thinking about this, where okay, so people say that Satan is like the worst thing on earth, or worst thing in the universe, right? Satan is the worst, right? But what made Satan think that he could be better than God? Power. So it's actually the demon of power is bigger than Satan.
Yeah, I think that's
Mind-blowing.
terrible now with social media because we've quantified that. We've given that a number. Like before, like in the 90s, if you were that dude, it was just like a feeling. Like you walk, now it's like, oh, this person has this many followers. This person has this. Like you can see, you can quantify it. Before it was just like, oh, I think, yeah, this guy is charming. And everybody's around him, and he's charismatic, he's that guy. But now it's like, oh no, this person has 1 million followers.
I think like we as a country, and probably as a world, just there needs to be like mass ego deaths, but nobody wants to do that because that would involve like relinquishing that false sense of self that needs the power. If you disconnect yourself from that false sense of self that needs the power, and you realize that you are made of the same shit as everybody on the earth, then you don't need it anymore. But it's like, I feel like you have to have that experience to learn from it and go like, oh, actually, like, I'm responsible for me. I do believe that, like, even when presented with this awesome power, like, I want to see in my lifetime, us as a human race, like, progress to the point where, like, even when presented with that, we still, like, choose to be kind, choose to be good, like, choose to care about the collective rather than just ourselves. I would love to see that in my lifetime.
It's not just the people in power's fault, though. That like it's our fault and how we react to that power. Like even how we've all seen, we're comedians, we've all seen it. if somebody comes through that's a headliner or someone comes through that books a lot of shows, how they get treated versus somebody who just is an open mic person is completely different. And we've all done it. Like,
Yeah, we've all done
we've
it.
all put on our fake voice. There's been bookers that I really don't like personally. Now I'm like laughing extra hard at your, corny ass jokes because I want to do your shows.
And I always have to check myself in my head, like Sarah. Like I have to talk to myself through the process because it's like, and I don't like the attitudes of people that are, have a lot more followers or, because I didn't just start in comedy. I've been in professional acting my whole life.
Talk that shit, Sarah.
I've been like a touring musician. So like I've experienced a lot of different levels of these people. And I just try to always tell myself they don't impress you until they show you they're worth impressing you. And it's not because of what they've done or how many followers they have. It's like who they are as people. And if you're a shit person, then I'm just going to be professional and move on.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember A Bug's Life, the Disney movie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like we all of us like middle class or like lower working class people, like we're the ants. We give the grasshoppers the power because we
Do all the
fear
shit,
them
yeah.
and do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like literally
Dang.
all it would take, because there's more of us than there are of them. And it's the same with like the context that you're saying of like the gatekeepers in comedy or like the bitchy actor theater people. It's like there are more middle ground people, more kind people than there are those people, and it's like if we stop subscribing to that shit, it wouldn't exist anymore.
Nobody does because it's like, what if I can be that person? Or what if
I could become a grasshopper? What if I could?
how the wealth really, like how the top 1% really started like getting carried away with shit is because like I think it was like the 70s they passed a law that when you pass your wealth down like generation to generation, it doesn't get taxed like it used to get taxed. It used to get taxed like something crazy, and then like now it doesn't get taxed, and it's because we voted like that because motherfuckers in Poland, Indiana is like, well, what if I become a millionaire? You know what I mean? I don't want my daughter. Yeah, my family. I don't want. It's like we all think, and it's like a game they play. They tell us like, hey, there's this American dream. You could be a millionaire too. It's like, no. Most likely, I'm gonna be working at Office Max. You know what I mean? Go to Dave and Buster's once a month. That's the real American dream.
Hopefully, when we get to be grasshoppers, we become more of like the Wicked Witch of the North, Glinda, in our bubble. That's what I want to be.
Is that from Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Evil for good. Having the power but using it for good.
I'm gonna start using that as my hashtag.
Evil for good.
Yeah.
Evil for good.
Hell yeah! It started right here on Teatime.
Everyone listening at home, we are enjoying tea, but for this next one, I'm going to have to switch to alcohol. So there has been a new bird flu that has many variants that's popped up in Europe and in Asia, and they were like, this is chill, like as long as we don't go messing with these birds, as long as we leave these birds alone, in theory it shouldn't start infecting humans. But unfortunately, 13 hours ago, they said on Forbes.com that 2 people are dead in China from this H5N6 avian flu. We are not out of the woods with coronavirus yet. So the fact that this could just like pop up, like almost beating the boss in the video game and like more baddies show up. Like it's
We just need to accept that we're gonna all die very soon, I think.
Yeah.
Like
we having a terrible apocalypse. This is the worst and most boring apocalypse.
it's drawn out, way
Look,
too long.
This is what's happening to me right here. All right, we're in apocalypse right now. There's 2 pandemics going on apparently. I'm in a studio with 3 cameras and I'm having tea instead of having an apocalypse orgy right now. This is the worst apocalypse ever. Okay, ever in history. Everybody's still going to work. I'm still taking care of my kids. Why? Okay, I should be out here living my fantasies, exploring pyramids.
I'm so frustrated with myself because I feel like I went through like all my chaotic shit like before this apocalypse started, and now that we're in the apocalypse, I'm like, I think I really want to take this time to start working on myself. I want to like improve. But it's like, why? For what?
Yeah.
For another 7 years, like why?
I should have kept on being
better?
a shitty person.
Yeah, guys, if you loved the dollar section at Target and you noticed that it's disappeared, I have more bad news for you. Unfortunately, it's not good. So the Dollar Tree, you can just get used to calling it the $1.25 tree. They have added 25 cents to the
Ain't
price of every
ain't
item.
Nothing sacred no more.
And yeah, like the Dollar Tree fanatics they're up in arms. They're taking to TikTok, they're taking to YouTube to express their feelings of disgust. One person went so far as to say that the 25-cent price increase had them sick to their stomach. They said, I am sick to my stomach. And honestly, I'm sick to my stomach that people, of all, like, don't see that the issue is that Dollar Tree needs to just, like, be willing to pay the people at the top less rather than increase the prices for the consumers. A of all. B of all, also bums me out that people are like, you know what, I cannot spend an extra 25 cents, so I'm going to go to Walmart, arguably a much worse corporation, and give my hard-earned $1 there. That makes me feel better than extra 25 cents. Like, yes, the extra 25 cents should not have happened, but are we really going to Walmart? Are we really...
You're missing out on the principle of the thing.
The principle.
The dollar store is an American pillar.
Well,
In our community, no, it's across races, genders, sexual preferences, across all that shit. Everybody with the dollar store at one point, the dollar store came through for you. For them to increase it by, it just more speaks on the state of America. How things are increasing, like the executives are getting paid more and more money. Things are costing more and more, and we're getting paid the same. And then it's trickled down to even the who frequent the dollar store. We're like, we gotta press. Even these motherfuckers, we gotta press.
Can you just like not make $1 billion? Can you maybe just make $1 million? Like if you just be happy with $1 million, pay your employees, like raise the minimum wage so that they can, I don't know, pay their rent and sometimes get Uber Eats. It just sucks because there's more than enough going around, but there's people hoarding resources.
True.
And not, like, the trickle down doesn't work because the more rich you get, you don't care about regular people because you can't relate to them.
In nerdy white people news, a page from a comic book, a Spider-Man comic book just sold for $3 million. $3 million whole dollars, one page. Spider-Man's not that good. Spider-Man ain't never been that good. He's not even a top 5 superhero to me. But can you guys imagine creating something and then later on that shit, one page of it selling for $3 million?
That's crazy.
You know?
That is crazy. I do disagree with you though. I love Spider-Man.
Oh.
$3 million. I don't love Spider-Man $3 million worth, but I do love Spider-Man.
I hate Spider-Man. It's my son's favorite superhero.
That's karma.
You know what? It's karma, but now that I'm a dad, I just realized, like, you know what? A lot of our favorite superheroes just based on, like, who's hot at the time. Like, Spider-Man is out now. That's who this knows.
Yeah.
Like, when I was coming up, it was Batman.
Batman ain't shit.
Batman is the best because he's crazy. That nigga's insane.
Crazy.
Yeah.
With money.
Yes, that's what
Spider-Man is a
about
young boy. I'm sorry. Did you see the new Spider-Man though?
No.
The new Spider-Man is like so fun. Okay, we were talking about the.
I don't like Tom. He don't got no lips.
But the whole thing
He's
with
a filler.
it, the thing you gotta understand in the new movie, there's this whole thing where he like accidentally brings back every single villain that's ever known Spider-Man in all the worlds that Spider-Man's existed. So like these villains are popping back from like the Tobey Maguire movies and the Andrew Garfield movies that, you know, Tom, Spider-Man's never met. But he has this desire to like, no, like I want to help these people because like something made them like go evil for evil and I believe that I can help them. And it's like,
He's a bit.
that shit's fucking cool.
He's a little bit of a hoe.
I
He walking around with that little suit. He don't have no balls.
He's a
No.
teenager. He's a teenage boy.
How he kissing Mary Jane with no lips? He always kissing a bitch, just teeth. You ever kiss a bitch with teeth? That's Spider-Man. That's your hero.
He must be kissing okay because him and Zendaya are together. all the
Zendaya
time.
looks just like him, a 12-year-old boy. They're two 12-year-old boys. He must be eating ass. He's got to be with those thin lips and removing the toilet paper like this.
So that was the tea with Jamal Guichon and Jamie Schreiner. Thank you so much for joining us. Like and subscribe to Tea Time with Sarah Holcomb on YouTube, and we'll be seeing you guys back here next time. Bye.